Welcome back to Logic Pro 10 training. This is Eddie Gray. Let's get right into this session. Remember, in the back of your mind, I always want you to think about what I like to call the Logic Pro Power User Workflow. Today, we are actually focusing on the core concept called key focus and how it essentially dictates every single behavior within the program. So let's look at it from top to bottom. This is a part of navigation and transport. If you want to better understand how to use this program, I highly advise you to first learn how to look at the program and, of course, to really hone in on playback and recording features. So when we look at key focus, it really is a multifaceted concept. And so we're going to break this down step by step. When it comes to the overall GUI, we're talking about the main interface. The windows must be highlighted in order to receive any kind of commands, whether this means I am selecting tracks, whether this means I am previewing loops in the loop browser. There is always one window that is constantly active. This is called key focus in the context of the windows. So if you look at my screen here, you can see that the main area, what's called the tracks area, sometimes referred to as the arrangement area, is in key focus. There is a kind of pulsation happening centered around this area. When I hit the key command tab, that focus goes from the tracks area and has now shifted into the library. The Apple Loop browser is now ready for functionality. Again, we can preview, we can search within the Loop browser. The attention is solely placed within this area. If I now hit the key command up and down arrow menu, rather than selecting tracks as would be normal if key focus was centered around the tracks area, when I hit the up and down arrow menu, we're now previewing various loops. And so there's an entirely different behavior that is inherent within key focus being centered around either the tracks area or the Apple Loop browser. If I hit tab again, that focus is now centered around the editors. Now, of course, depending on which editor I have open, the piano roll, the audio track editor, the audio file editor, I can have the sequencer open, smart controls. This is all happening in the bottom of your screen. So let me give you a quick working demo of what this looks like. As of now, the primary window is open as mentioned. This is Logic's main workspace. And if I hit the key command O, immediately now you see a blue rim has been centered around the loop browser. And so when I start to use the up and down arrow menu, the focus now is inside of the loop browser. If I then hit tab, you can see that the focus has now been centralized around the tracks area. And so if I hit the down arrow now, I am going from track 1 to 2 to 3 to 29. And if you're wondering, how did we go from 3 to 29? We can talk more about that later. But essentially what's going on here is we have a track stack when we select certain kinds of instruments within Logic Pro. And so we have a basic underlying foundation when it comes to key focus. Let's open up another window. This time I'll open up the mixer. And so in essence, we have 3 window panes that are open, and we can open and close them all at the same time. The only thing that we cannot close is the tracks area. It is kind of always open at all times. Now there is one disclaimer. You could make mistakes such as having, let's say, an EQ open, and then let's say my key focus is around the tracks area, and I don't know, by mistake hit Command W, this could happen to you here, in which case all you have to do is go to Window, open main window, or just hit the key command, Command 1. I'll click on this, I'll hit Command W, and so now we have 3 windows. I will hit Tab. The focus is now around the tracks area. If I hit Tab again, we are now in the Apple Loop browser. And then if I hit Tab again, key focus is now in the mixer. And if I hit the left and right arrow key, you can see that reflected as I am selecting the channel strips. If I hit Tab and key focus is in the tracks area, if I hit left and right arrow key, look at what happens. Depending on which track is selected, in this case track number 2, I'm going from region to region. Check this out. Right arrow key, left arrow key. Hold on, let me make sure key focus is up here. You can see left arrow key, right arrow key. So depending on where you are focused, this is drastically going to affect how you work and operate in Logic Pro. I want you to take a couple of minutes, experiment, try a couple of things out within your session, hit Tab a couple of times, hit Shift Tab so that you can move counterclockwise with key focus, and I will see you in the next video.